yeah, so thank you for spending this Monday night with me. I hope you're feeling great. I hope you're feeling good. I hope you're feeling strong. I hope you're feeling confident. I hope you're feeling like you want to write a fucking script. Don't take 10 years to do it, though. Please, don't take 10 years to write it. Just make your shit happen. So for the last 10 years of my life, I have been writing a script that I've been very passionate about, but didn't quite know how I was going to get there. And these are all my thoughts. So I couldn't think of a better way to spend my Monday night than talking about a script that I very much enjoy. Well, I'll get into it. Okay. So let's just jump right in. So my name is Adam Chase Rennie. I am a filmmaker in Austin, Texas, and I've been in the film industry for about a little over 3 years now, and I've definitely have come to an understanding that working independently, at least me specifically, I work in the art department. You realize that there is no monetary value to being in the film industry other than just loving and appreciating what you do, which I definitely do. But of course, it comes with its trials and tribulations, much like the script that I wrote 10 years ago. And for a long time, I always thought that, I've always had my doubts, just like starting this podcast. I've always had my doubts thinking that, like, I can't do it. I'm not interesting enough. There's no way it's ever going to get made, or somebody's going to, like, I have to ask permission, which in retrospect seems like a very silly thing. But I do want to take a brief moment to just congratulate myself on doing this for the 500th time. So yeah, hopefully this one sticks, and I hope y'all come along on this journey with me. So my script, I don't want to give away the title, because the title, I don't want to say spoils, but it does. I don't want to be that guy, because I honestly can give two shits about, the idea of giving away spoilers. But in this case, I do, let me think about this for a second. Hold on. If I want to, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. My script name is Manipulator. I've been I've been on the I've been on a scale, like dipping one side to another, thinking that, should I mention this? Should I not? I don't know if it's spoiler, but it's called Manipulator. The title could change too. I don't know, but the script took me 10 years. Now, why? Let's just go from the beginning. I worked in retail for about way longer than I was in the film industry, for about 10 years. A little less than. It's like 9 years. And I've come to the realization that I've always wanted to become a writer, and I've always wanted to become a storyteller. And since I was a little kid. And I hit this point in my life where I was like, if I don't do something about this, I would probably just keep working retail, and nothing is more grueling. Nothing against anybody who works in the retail industry. God bless you. I love you, and I hope you're doing good. Because that shit gets wild, and it definitely wasn't for me. I was very bad at it. Very bad at retail. I became a manager when I was 19 years old. Handed me keys, a safe code, and deposits, and all that shit. And you should never give a 19-year-old that kind of power. That's fucking great. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. So I've had this idea brewing in my mind for this entire time. So, I know I got y'all with a clicky baity, but I've been having this idea in my head for 10 years. I didn't write it down on paper necessarily, but I definitely had this idea. And the idea was always supposed to be about it sets in the post-apocalyptic world, like the not so distant future. And it's a war-torn country. Sort of aptly what it feels like right now, maybe to some people. But the thing that I wanted to do with a post-apocalyptic story was not necessarily like talk about like, like if you are familiar with the film, like, The Rover or The Road or The Book of Eli or The Mad Max or The Road Warrior. All those movies are great. They're phenomenal films. But the thing that gets me the most is that all those films are somewhat very fucking depressing. Except for The Road Warrior, arguably. Well, depending on how you look at it, I guess. But I've always wanted to see a post-apocalyptic world where it's not so, horrible, right? Because I wanted to show a world that could be bad, but the company that you have are the ones worth keeping. And that is basically I wouldn't say the message, but that's the overall theme of this script for Manipulator. And I'm very proud of the script. It took me this long to finally write it. And when I did finally write it, which was about, I want to say 3 years, it was before the pandemic. So, okay, so about 4 years, I guess. Yeah, so when I wrote this script 4 years ago, I didn't quite figure out how I was going to tell this story other than letting the characters tell the story itself. And it sort of speaks to me. And I've always been a huge like film buff. I grew up watching movies, played lots of video games, but I especially watched a lot of movies growing up. Living in a post 9/11 world where, my mother was very scared of me going outside for any reason, I guess, to just have an excuse. But I stayed at home a lot. So the only thing that I had going was movies. And during the days of cable, which definitely dates me a little bit, I guess, cable had like access, I guess, licensing to movies to just play on cable, like national cable. Like anybody who gets cable, like this is broadcasted everywhere. And there's definitely a lot of movies that are very questionable to broadcast over the airwaves, like over the years of watching movies on TV. Of course, everything was cut down because of ads and, explicitity and, gore, violence, all that shit, right? So I watched so much of that, and the thing that captured my imagination the most were the characters. The characters were so like the only thing that stuck with me. Like I couldn't really describe like the plot so much as like I could describe the characters and how fucking rad they are, It was hard for me to just like just like comprehend what was actually going on other than what the characters were feeling, right? And that being said, I definitely felt way more attachments to, the world building and over the years, like with the world building, but more importantly, the characters that are inside that world and how they react to it, and even what role the world itself kind of plays. And for Manipulator, it does play a role, but there's definitely some things going on, and it might be said, it might not be said. It's kind of left for you to figure it out, the audience, I guess. So I wrote this script and I finished writing it about a month ago, and I'm excited to where I can hopefully take it, pitch it, and make the fucking thing, And that's exactly what I want to do. It's been my dream to be a real filmmaker, a writer, a director. And I just, that's been a goal of mine. Yeah, I mean, I guess since I was like 6 years old, but I didn't even know what really film director or writer meant. I just knew I wanted to be a storyteller. I just love telling stories. And I love like reenacting stories too. I used to love like acting until like I got older and realized I am not a good actor. So I kept it to just me like imagining these stories all the time. So that was what meant a lot to me. And this has been a long time in the making, and I'm going to keep updating as often as I possibly can on this script. That is if I continue with this podcast. This whole thing could be going down to the ground. I don't know. I might be still doing it. I want to try it out every single day. Not every single day. 5 days a week. Jesus, Adam, get a grip. 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. So I thought I would start it. I was thinking about it through the weekend, and I definitely wanted to do a podcast, but I wanted to do it the way I know how, and that is to just speak my mind. And I think it's best so, I can just say whatever's going on my mind. And then if I don't like it, I can just, hopefully not cut it out. But there's certain points where I have to cut out, like right now when I want to talk about all the things that I hate about blank. There's going to be a big fucking bleep. I'm just going to be so, just grotesque with the details. It's going to be so bad. And I have all that control with the podcast, and that's a beautiful thing. I think that's a wonderful thing. So, I'm excited. Can't wait to see where it's going to go. And if anybody out there, I know it's like a weird thing to ask to reach out, but if anybody out there is in the film industry and has experience on pitching, please let me know. Either in the comments, wherever, doesn't matter. And hopefully you like this enough to where I won't be annoying about it. Jesus, Adam. Good God, cut that shit. Ugh. All right. So where do I want to go with the script? So like I said, I definitely want to direct this script. I've worked long enough in the film industry where I got to interact with enough directors, not so much, but at least like understand the ins and the outs of production on every department. And I think I'm pretty confident in making this. The only thing that's keeping me away from that is hopefully they allow me to fucking do it. So I don't know. I don't know. I hope I can. I hope this doesn't, just end up in a shelf collecting dust. I mean, if it does, what can I do, right? I gotta move on at some point. But if I got a chance, I want to take that chance. So just hit that like and subscribe, and hopefully I can get myself there to finally direct this script, because I know that the power's in your hands to do that. So like and subscribe, y'all, and hopefully your boy can catch a break directing this. Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be amazing to just that's the only access for me to direct this script, as if enough people like and subscribe, kind of like building this hypothetical spirit bomb in DBZ, to just give me the full autonomy to direct a script. This boy has 500,000 subscribers. You're hired. That'd be wild. All right. So what's this pod going to be about, Adam? Is it just going to be you fucking talking about manipulating the script all day? No, it's not. I promise you it's not. There's going to be, I don't know exactly every single episode of what I want to do, but what I want to talk about is lots of pop culture stuff. Anything in the news of pop culture would be interesting. And talking about shit that I watched, because this is definitely a film podcast. Anyways, so going to talk about watch list stuff, we're talking about movies. Yes, this is a movie podcast, a film podcast, if you will, for the savants out there. And yeah, let me know anybody who what they're currently watching. Hit it up. If you get in the comments, I'll talk about it. So yeah. For those of you listening on the audio portion, you just come to the YouTube channel and at AdamIsChase, and drop a comment, and hit a subscribe, so you can participate too. Yeah, I'm gonna cut out all the ums and the uhs and the ums. So the watch list stuff. Currently, I haven't been watching stuff as of late, but I definitely will and talk about it here. Yeah, the format of these podcasts is just going to be it might be all over the place, but the title is what you're going to get, right? And we're going to talk more about the script, but I wanted to, just preface the everyone on the itinerary, in the future itinerary of this podcast, which is loosey goosey. We're gonna go all over the place, and there's gonna be tangents and all that. Like any other good podcast, right? So, let's see. Yeah, I have been set dressing. So let's just talk about film then, in the film industry. Or what do I want to talk about? Fuck me. I might just cut all this, the last 6 fucking minutes. Or the entire pod. Who knows? I'm kidding. I don't know. I've been enjoying it thus far. But it's definitely, there's challenges to this, ladies and gentlemen. It's not easy doing a podcast. So one thing on the script that I do want to talk about, though, is the process in which I wrote the script. Let's go back to, cut all that out. Let's start on back to the script and my process in doing it. With the script, I've definitely wanted to, like I said, make a post-apocalyptic story that is a little bit more on the hopeful side, and it definitely is a story that I definitely like want to see, that I have never seen, and I feel like that's a good place to start when it comes to writing a story and having something that means something to you. And the script, it's a expensive ass camera, and it just sometimes just wants to turn off for no reason at all. All right. First episode, you guys. I'm trying my best. So going back to the script, the story has changed so many times that I felt like I was going nowhere with the script. Like, the story just kept changing. Every time I read through the script, it was just like I was so nitpicky that I couldn't just let go of certain things, because the way I wrote, I don't recommend to anyone at all, especially taking 10 years to make this script. That shit is fucking wild. You shouldn't, I don't recommend it, okay? But the thing that gets me the most is that I want to strive for a certain kind of perfection when it comes to making a story. But so a few lessons I learned throughout all this. One is that the characters usually speak for themselves in many ways, as long as you let them, if that makes any sense. So when you're writing, it's kind of like I had to develop this habit of like just understanding these characters on a level that it probably won't be mentioned in the script at all, but having like a side bio on all these characters definitely helps in terms of like moving along the script, in my opinion. Another lesson that I learned is that whenever because I just kept changing drafts, right? And the story changes all the time. It's best to just stick with something that calls out to you when you write it the first go around than what calls out to you the third or the fourth or the fifth time going around, if that makes any sense. So when I wrote the script, it was like every single time I would read through it, it would be like I would start at the beginning and then work my way through the script. Every single time I got to the script. Then I just caught myself just being nitpicking on, everything when I'm just trying to get to the page that I last left on, So if it's like I'm on page like 40, I'm going through the next day I'm going through the beginning of the script, getting to page 40, but it took me like 3 hours to do because I'm just nitpicking little fucking things. And it's just best to let that shit go. And if you should, ideally you should know the script well enough that you should be able to just pick up wherever you left off, or like at least start from the beginning of the scene if it's like in the middle of the scene. But I don't necessarily like to do that. I like to finish the scene first and then just end it there if I'm feeling like tired or whatever. So when I wrote Manipulator, there were so many times, every single time I was reading through the script, it felt like I was taking like 2 or 3 hours way longer than I ever should, because the idea is to just finish it and then you go back through and then tighten up anything like in terms of callbacks or character development or anything like the setting, action sequences, everything, to make sure that it all fits narratively. And I just didn't do that. I just never did that. So, that being said, it definitely is apparent to strive for telling the story that you want to tell. Don't overthink it. Don't feel like you have to be trapped on one specific idea, and just let the spice flow. No, let the story flow. Let the characters kind of say it in a way that will give you little hints at where you should point the story towards, even if it goes nowhere. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of times people want to go with like a beat sheet or use the hero's journey, which I definitely have used with Manipulator. But I got to the point where I sort of realized that like it took me more away from the characters and more focused on the plot, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I don't necessarily think I recommend it. Just because like I think the story and the characters inside of it should just be able to just like tell that themselves. And I don't know if the beat sheet or the Joseph Campbell's hero's journey works for me. But it might work for other people. And for those of you who don't know the beat sheet, I want to say it's Blake Snyder. I was going to say Zack Snyder, but come on, the Cinema 4.3 genius, not that legendary filmmaker, but I think his name is Blake Snyder, who wrote a book called Save the Cat, and he built a beat sheet that breaks everything down a plot should have in a script, and at least like give you like a formulaic, I guess. Well, formulaic's not fair to say. I say like maybe a guideline, if you will, on what the plot should be and how what your heroes are and who your villain is, and everything in between. Break into two, inciting incident, B story, yada yada, and it gives you, for a lot of people, a good head start on where to begin with the script, which I definitely see its use for it. And I definitely recommend it to those who just want to try it out. It doesn't hurt trying it out, especially if you don't fully know where you want to go with the story yet. Another way you can do it is through Joseph Campbell's A Hero's Journey, and more specifically, the Story Circle. And the Story Circle is definitely a helpful tool, because it literally tells a story as a metaphorical circle. So you begin with your protagonist and introduce them to the world and the world that they live in, and then you get some inciting incidents like like there's a problem that arises, right? And then you get to the road of trials, and then the reverse world, basically, like in Stranger Things, like the Upside Down, basically, or Gotham City for Batman, and it's what the character does within that world to then solve whatever problem that the plot has given, especially that the main character needs to solve, your hero, to defeat the villain, or no villain at all. Maybe defeat the villain within themselves, what have you. And then you come back outside of that world, back to their own world, a changed person. So basically starting from, one person and then ending up a completely different person, maybe more enlightened, maybe more aware, way more experienced, and how they play inside that world. I'm giving a loose definition of it, and I know, people might roast me on it, which is fine. It's fair, because I'm just beginning on this, so I don't fully know. I don't want to break everything down because A, I'm not fully sure, and B, I definitely used it a long time ago, and I just was like, all right, I think I know where I want to take my story, anyways, because I'm just so much better than using a formulaic formula than a Joseph Campbell story circle. Like, I mean, what the fuck? Who am I? The fuck does that guy know about writing? Dummy. Just one of the most important figures in philosophical history. Yeah, that's basically, in a nutshell, my experience on writing the script. Trying to think anything else. It's hard. It's really hard writing a script. You know what I mean? Like, there's only so much you can do with the script, right? It's like, I mean, it's not the fact that you're so limited. It's the fact that, like, it sucks to just start at a blank page, right? And for those of you who are just starting writing, or just beginning to, or even just thinking about writing in general, understand this. The story in which you want to tell has to be your voice and your voice alone. And the best way to go about it is to let your characters be honest for themselves, instead of just, forcing creativity. Like, there's no problem with having, those days where you just can't think of anything. The fact that you just show up and actually, like, try to participate in the work says a lot as it is already, because you care. You want to make the story happen, and sometimes it just takes a little more brainstorming instead of just, like, going straight to typing. Because once you type, at least for me, once I started typing, I was engaged. I was ready to fucking rock. And I started off, like, writing, I want to say, like, 15 pages, like 20 pages. Like, I wrote the entire opening sequence. I established the world and all that. And it just, like, all of a sudden I found myself 15 pages later, and I'm just like, oh shit, this is a great flow. And you feel great. You feel confident. You feel amazing about it. And then you realize that if, at least for me, I want to make this an hour and a half feature. So it's going to be a longer process, and you're going to have to show up to work every single day. You know what I mean? And I know, I mean, to those, I mean, work really is a to some people might be a loose way of going about writing, but it is work. It definitely is work. You have to put in a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of energy, that I don't think a lot of people quite understand until they, I guess, write a script themselves. Because even in the beginning, I kind of figured, I was like, okay, so it should take me, a few days to just finish a script, right? And boy, oh boy, was I wrong. I was so wrong. And there's no way for me to like really understand the whole process of it all until I'm like finished. And when I say finished, like I don't necessarily mean that like, oh, my script is done. This is the script that we're shooting with and that's it. It's like, no, I part of the process I know is, well, first off, like giving the script to people who you trust. Hopefully in the industry or people who enjoy writing or enjoy storytelling. Stories in general, like give it to those who definitely like care about storytelling and writing and all that, because those are going to be the people who will probably give you the best notes rather than just hounding your family members all the time and then giving it to them and then asking them, what did you think? And they're like, it's good. And then, oh, what did you like? What didn't you like? You're like, and their response always is, it's great. There's no notes. It's like, well, that's not what I want. You definitely want notes, ladies and gentlemen. I know it sounds a little backwards. It's like, oh, so you want people to criticize your shit? Yeah, you definitely do want people to criticize your shit. And there's a healthy, respectful way of going about it rather than just, straight up say that, oh, your script is a piece of shit. And I think like the best example of that is like at least posts that I've seen on the screenwriting subreddit, which, we all know that Reddit is such a wonderful place to share ideas with, and not pornography. So there is a subreddit where you can, just ask any advice. And a lot of times it's good. Like some of the responses and some of the like asks of what people are trying to go through and what the process of like, developing a script and how long it takes and what you got to know, what you shouldn't know, what to look out for and stuff like that. And for the most part, yeah, it's good. Yeah. So, just follow your heart with obtaining advice, I don't know how I'll go about it. Whenever somebody, gives me advice, like you kind of, depending on the person, of course, you sort of have to take it all with a grain of salt. And a lot of times they are probably really good advice, but don't let it sway you and don't let it impact the workflow of your script. Like, I wouldn't necessarily listen to anybody who thinks that like they know your story better than you do. I do feel like they kind of talk down to you in a way. And I definitely, like, when I first pitched this to a buddy of mine a while ago, there was just like nothing but like, not disdain, but like super like weird, like critical, like just such a toxic is a wrong word, but like such a aggressive way of critiquing a script, or at least an idea at the time when I had it, and just talking about it, it was just like you sort of bare your soul, right? In like the thing that you love the most, in the thing that you created, or at least will create. You sort of bare your soul to somebody, and then they just go ahead and just fucking smash it against a wall and tell you that like, nah, it's a stupid idea. I wouldn't go about it. I wouldn't entertain the idea. Nobody wants to watch a post-apocalyptic like movie, especially if it's a hopeful one. I feel like that's just kind of made up, which I don't know if you guys know this, but films are made up. It's fiction. Enter Ben Affleck.
We're talking about fictional characters. Fictional characters. Am I getting through to you at all?
The idea of listening to advice is definitely one that has to come with a awareness, I guess, and a bit of objectivity. And I know it's don't be a dickhead and combat like any person who wants to critique your shit. Definitely like lend an ear, and if they just tell you straight up like, oh, it sucks. Okay, well, why? It just does. It's like, okay, that's not really notes, right? That's not really critique. It's just somebody being mean. So yeah, it's a difficult and long process for sure, but I definitely know that it's so worth it, because a month ago it's been a month and I'm still riding that high of finishing this script, because it means a lot to me. Like it's been a whole journey, and I'm going to go the extra distance with this script, hopefully, and make something great out of it. So, I mean, that's my goal, at least, and that's my goal of why, like, I started this podcast, was to, hype up this film and document any little bit of movement that I have with Manipulator, and why it's important to me. And I definitely want all of you to come along with me. And if you like it, I hope you do. I hope you give it a like. I hope you give it a subscribe. Yeah, what else do I want to talk about? The news, yeah, I don't know about the news right now. I just want to get through this first episode. But I do want to do this daily. So that's basically what I can talk about coming to the end of the podcast. I want to do this podcast Monday through Friday. I don't know if I'm going to adhere to that. I don't know if that's crazy, but I definitely thought it would be interesting and fun to have something to look forward to daily. I've always loved a podcast like, like Mark Maron back in the day, I'm pretty sure, or a Howard Stern kind of but nothing like Howard Stern, of course. Why am I, Adam? Why are you comparing yourself to a fucking radio legend? I don't know, because I'm dumb. I want to do this daily, at least as often as I possibly can, because I thought it would be a fun little exercise for me to engage with doing something solo and just have like a stream of consciousness to just like talk about anything and everything that I want to talk about, like this script, which I'm definitely going to talk more about in future episodes, especially if anybody has any comments or has any awesome advice, writing advice. And I definitely will share it too. If you have any bit of advice, any writers out there, I'd definitely love to hear it. So, this podcast is definitely, I want to do this little experiment to do it daily. And wherever I am, all I need is, my camera and a mic, and a computer to, upload all this right to YouTube and, all the audio stuff, all the audio podcasts, and yeah, just get weird and wacky and wild with it. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, I've been going for basically an hour, and I think this is I mean, it's going to be 50 minutes. There's going to be 6 minutes of just me having not a meltdown, but I definitely had a crisis. And if you like and subscribe enough, I will release the tapes. But for now it's being edited, and it is what it is. Social media, I have an aversion to social media, but I will definitely have links and stuff. But follow me at AdamIsChase on Twitter, AdamTheChase on Instagram, because AdamIsChase, I think, is taken on Instagram. But I'm gonna try it out. Hopefully I do have it change. And if I do, I'm gonna let you people know. Yeah, so thank you for spending this Monday night with me. I hope you're feeling great. I hope you're feeling good. I hope you're feeling strong. I hope you're feeling confident. I hope you're feeling like you want to write a fucking script. Don't take 10 years to do it, though. Please, don't take 10 years to write it. Just make your shit happen. It's good advice in general, right? Even if you're not writing a script, whatever you're doing, listener, watcher, lurker, do the thing that you love to do. And don't lose focus on it. And if you haven't started it, I don't know. Maybe today's the day. You got a lot of shit going on today? Okay. Well, then first thing in the morning, you make an effort. Even that little bit of effort counts. It's hard. It's definitely hard nowadays, the world definitely feels and seems like it's heading in the wrong direction, right? But it's not not the fact that you can't do anything about it, but you can do something about your situation now. And if you feel creative, you feel this itch of creativity that you just want to express because it just means so much to you, you got to let it out sometime, If it feels therapeutic, it feels therapeutic for me to write, Even doing this. I also have another podcast called the Get Realisms Podcast. Check it out. This fucking sweet ass hat. Go subscribe today. And that podcast is with my mentor. And we do the same stuff, but it's more educational. And she is definitely way smarter than me because she's my mentor. Duh. Fucking idiot, Adam. That's why mentors exist. And I've been working with her for years, and I definitely love doing that podcast. And catch us on Spotify, Get Realisms. But before you do all that, just subscribe and listen to AdamIsChase, okay? Please. Thank you. Appreciate you. And I love you. And if you've been here for this long, God bless you. The episodes are going to get better from here. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is my first episode. Give me a break. Got the nerves. I'm nervous. I know what I was supposed to do on a first episode. Hello. Welcome to the potty. Thank you so much for being here. Let's get into it. Shit happens. But when shit happens, you just fucking wipe.